tried writing like Stephen King for a few days, and I don't know who lied to me, but this man wakes up, goes on a 3.5-mile walk, and then writes 2,000 words like it's nothing. Meanwhile, I'm fighting for my life over writing one paragraph. Look, I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, and y'all, please don't come after me for when I say this, but I have never, ever once read a Stephen King's novel. I haven't even read his short stories. And you're probably wondering, Hannah, why in the world are you making a video about writing like Stephen King's and you never once read one of his books? So I want to answer that with, why not? So recently, if y'all have been following my journey or looked at any of my videos, I have been writing my debut novel for a while now, off and on again for the past 3 years in total. But recently, in a nutshell, I just started back working on it, finished a second draft, and I was like, you know what? I am creatively burnt out. My brain is cooked, it is fried, and I just need a new story idea. I need a new thing to write because I've been working with this world, these characters, this plot for so long. So I was looking up different authors and how they brainstorm a new story idea. Then I stumbled across Stephen King. Now, Stephen King has a very unique, interesting brainstorming process. Other authors do a story structure or save the cat, but Stephen King starts off asking the questions of like, what if? He does not rely on the plot at all. He's a pantser, like a true pantser. I was reading and researching like for the past few days his writing process. I know you probably see hundreds of videos on YouTube about him, about people trying his routine, his writing, that stuff, but I really loved his brainstorming process on how he comes up with book ideas. And I was like, why not use his routine, his process, his brainstorming method to come up with my next story ideas? So with that being said, y'all, let's get into this brainstorming process. Okay, so here's the problem. I got 3 story ideas bouncing around in my head and I can't decide which one to chase. One is bright and romantic and the other is just dark and moody. Stephen King has this philosophy called the sticky rule, where you write the story that has been lingering in your head the longest. But I got multiple stories sticking around, so I don't know which one to choose. They don't really tell you about this part of the Stephen King routine. So apparently this is how Stephen King starts his day. Waking up early, journaling, eating breakfast, and casually going on a 3.5-mile walk like he's training for a marathon. Meanwhile, I just woke up and I'm already tired. It's so cold. You can see smoke coming from my mouth. I'm ready for winter to be over with. I'm ready for spring. I am so sick of being cold. I'm gonna have to finish the rest of this like inside. It is too cold. It's way too cold. I can't take another second outside anymore. I thought that walking in the freezing cold or walking for over an hour would be the thing that I would not enjoy the most. But only for me to realize that this right here is way worse, like 10 times worse. Is that Stephen King is known for not drinking coffee in the morning. Not drinking coffee when he writes. He either has water or he has tea. If you watch any of my videos, if you've been here long enough, you know I'm not a big tea fan. Sometimes I even despise tea. I want a cup of coffee. I am obsessed with coffee. I'm a coffee addict. That's literally the essential part of my writing routine. Not just setting my music, not lighting a candle, not finding a quiet place to work, none of that. It is my cup of coffee. If I find my cup of coffee, I feel like I am ready for my writing session. Hannah, why are you in a car? Well, when I planned this vlog, I did not plan it well apparently, because I forgot that I had an appointment today. Yeah, I forgot I had an appointment today at 9 and I was like, oh shoot. When I was sitting there, I barely got a chance to write a full paragraph, but I was like, oh shoot, I got an appointment today. So I had to turn off my laptop and just hurry up and just get ready to go. It was half an hour long appointment. It was just some important things I had to take care of, and I forgot that it was today I had to do it. So it's behind me right now. So barely got any writing done. And I know Stephen King routine, he starts around 8 o'clock or 8:30. I don't know the time right now. It's probably like after 9:30. Every time I do an experiment or a challenge video, there's always something. Every freaking time there's always something going on. But so anyway, I decided to do the second story idea. It's a dark, gloomy story, but is it wrong to say I'm excited to write it? Like, that has to sound messed up. Yeah, that has to sound messed up to say I'm excited to write it. I think I'm just eager to, like, let me say it better. I'm eager to get into the characters' heads and the story and the world building and the story. And you get what I'm saying. But anyway, I want to shut up and stop yapping and get in there and start writing. We did it. The time is getting so close to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I feel like I have been in this room forever. So I got 2,203 words, and that's what Stephen King usually does. He gets from 1,000 to 2,000 words a day, or 6 pages a day. And sometimes I wonder if his method, the way he writes, does it count like as draft 0, because he doesn't really use a plot. And I looked it up one time, like draft 0, where you just write without a character art development or outline or anything, and that was technically draft 0. I am enjoying the way the story is going. I feel like I got an idea of what I want the characters to be like, and it's pretty interesting writing it at a time period where African American people, I didn't have a lot of rights, and the situation she's about to get herself into. But part of me is like, do I really want to keep writing this for the next 30 days? I feel like the reason why I chose this story right here, because I feel like the situation was more dire, more darker, had more high stakes. But anyway, it was a pretty good writing session. And there were some moments where my mind went blank. I was starting to overthink it. And I keep trying to tell myself this is just basic draft 1. So during his afternoon routine, Stephen King, he stops work, he closes his laptop, puts away his writings, puts away everything, doesn't even look at his manuscript till tomorrow. And what he does in the afternoon, he has lunch, spend times with his family, and he does his hobbies too. He watches the Red Sox baseball game, and he reads books. Let me tell y'all, he reads 70 to 80 books a year, and I'm like, how? I don't know what this says about me, but I try to read at least 1 book a month. Or sometimes not even that. I prefer writing over reading a lot of time. I know that's very weird coming from a writer, but anyway, I don't know what the heck Stephen King is doing. Like, he reads 70, 80 books a year. He's out doing some book talkers. But most importantly, what got my attention was very interesting to me that he makes it his priority to take a nap in the afternoon. And I was like, okay. He takes afternoon naps. So I'm definitely looking forward to that nap. That's for sure. So that being said, y'all, I'm going to wrap it up right here, close my laptop, put everything away, and we're going to take care of this nap because that's a must. Y'all, let me tell you, that nap earlier was too good. I love that that is part of his routine, just taking a nap. So right now, I'm going to have a late lunch. I honestly didn't want to get out of bed. It felt too good, but I don't want to be a bed rotter. So I ate some lunch. I had this strawberry banana blueberry bowl. I put a little sweetener in there because the strawberries, they were a little sour. And I got this Black Forest ham spinach tomato sandwich. I slipped into something more comfortable because I want to sit down and do a little cozy hobbies. Anyway, I want to eat lunch and just chill. I just got finished doing a read-over of everything I wrote yesterday. That is part of what Stephen King does. It's part of his routine. Before he starts writing anything the next day, he reads over everything he did yesterday just to refresh his mind and memory of what happened yesterday in the story, and where he left off and where he needs to pick up again. And let me tell y'all, there's a lot of typos. I knew there were some typos when I was typing. There might be some typos, but I didn't realize there was that many typos in it. And I was like, oh shit. Definitely had the urge to edit and fix it all, but I'm trying my best not to edit any grammar or any misspellings or typos in there. But we got to keep the ball rolling. This is the first draft. We'll worry about that later. And yesterday I didn't get to the deciding incident, but today I really want to get to the deciding incident and start writing their character's reaction after the deciding incident happens. I don't know about y'all, but for me, the plot points of the story, I feel like I could write that fairly well, but it's the in-between moments that always get me. What should happen between the theme stated and the deciding incident, or what should happen between the deciding incident and the debate, or like midpoint. You get what I'm saying? What should happen in between the big plot moments? I always struggle what to put right there. But anyway, we're locked in. We're not leaving until it's done. No distractions. Phone do not disturb. Nothing. We are locking in this room. Another writing session is done. Y'all, I cut the writing session a bit shorter today. I stopped it around 11ish and I walked away, and now I came back and it's almost 1 o'clock right now. I cut it short because honestly, unlike yesterday where I had actual distractions around me, the appointment, the pets, I created my own distraction. I learned something about myself doing this writing challenge is that when I get the 2 hour mark, or sometimes even sooner, my mind starts to wander. My attention is locked in. There's no shaking it. But then when it's getting past the 2 hour mark, getting close to it, my mind starts to wander. I start thinking about other stuff, start looking out the window. And I have to say, I'm sorry I did that, but I went on Pinterest and did a little scrolling. I tried to make myself a little vision board or a mood board for my story. And I got sidetracked. And after I wrote the decided incident part, I'm not really sure what should happen next after the decided incident. After something really bad happens to them, I know they're scrambling. I know how the characters are reacting and to the decided incident, because if something bad happens to you, you're going to have a reaction. But my thing is like, I don't know what. I'm struggling to figure out what should they do next. I decided to just stop it right there. I feel like the story's starting off pretty good so far, but right now I just feel kind of stuck. So I decided to just take a break, and maybe tomorrow I come back a little bit better with more ideas. Look, I'm gonna be so real with y'all. I am not in the mood to read at all. I just want to just scroll TikTok all day and lay in bed, especially after I had that Wingstop today. That's why I cannot eat fast food all the time. But as part of the Stephen King routine, so around this time of the day, he usually just chilling out and reading a book. Now, some sources say that he does walk on his treadmill too while reading. I don't know how true it is, but I do know that in the evenings he dedicates a good amount of his time just reading a book. And I was like, you know what? Since I never have read a Stephen King book, why not use this evening to read one of his books? And I decided, you know what, just start out small. We don't have to read like a big novel, because I've seen his novels are pretty thick. And I decided to read one of his short stories. And the ones that I did pick was The Boogeyman. The Boogeyman is a 1973 short story from the collection of The Night Shift. This story about the Boogeyman is like a man, and by the man named Lester Billings, who tells his psychiatrist, Dr. Harper, that a supernatural creature has murdered his children, each crying Boogeyman before their death. Sounds pretty good. Honestly, I'm gonna be so real, kind of in the mood for horror. I'm kind of in the mood for romance, because I'm still like this book, The King of Envy. Let me tell y'all, it takes me forever to get through a book, and I'm like halfway through that book, and I really was in the mood for that. But I was like, it's kind of crazy to do a Stephen King routine or challenge if I haven't even like read one of his work. So that being said, let's get into some reading. So I finally started reading The Boogeyman, and why is his man Billings calmly explaining how something in the closet took his kids? And I'm like, sir, I hate this man so much. He's racist, he's mean to his kids, and he's sexist to his wife. Like, I just cannot stand this man. I never hated a character so much in my life. If y'all hear noise outside, is the grass being cut right now. But I had to say, one of the main things I have learned from doing the Stephen King routine is discipline. Was from his long walks in the mornings to showing up every morning from either 8 o'clock or 8:30 in the morning. And he walks this from him locking himself in a room for hours at a time until he hits 1,000 or 2,000 words in a day. This man taught me how to be consistent no matter what. And also, I thought that was very important to learn from him, especially from his backstory. Stephen King didn't really come from a financially stable home. He wrote a lot of short stories and sent it out to magazines, and he got a lot of rejection. Over time, he got married and he had a job as a high school English teacher, and they were still struggling financially. And Stephen, in the process of writing another story, and he was still going through rejection. He just gave up, and he threw the book he was writing in the trash. And then till one day his wife was cleaning and she found his book crumpled in the trash can, and she read it and she was like, like this is actually pretty good. And the book that she was reading was Carrie, that literally got Stephen King's career off the ground. Not only did Stephen King routine taught me like discipline, consistency, it also taught me how to deal with rejection and still keep going. And I'm gonna be so real with y'all, I'm actually glad I did the Stephen King writing routine, because I feel like lately I have fallen off with the routine, especially in the morning, like almost non-existent. Yes, I do like the hygiene, like shower, brush my teeth, and try to do skincare. I know I fall short on that. I know that's really bad to admit that, but I feel like I need to do better. The Stephen King routine taught me that I need more routine and structure in my life, because I feel like I lack it. And I think that's just normal with life. Sometimes we fall off routine or we stop doing a routine. But anyway, after doing this routine, I was like, I need to read more Stephen King's work, because I read the Boogeyman short story yesterday. It was a really good read. But I think it's just one of his underrated short stories that I guess I don't hear enough people talk about that one. But I do want to start reading more of his work. I feel like I could probably learn a lot from him in this way he tells stories. I want to start off small, maybe just read his short stories and then go to his books. I do want to read the book Carrie, because I've seen that movie so many times, and I just want to see how it's different from the book and the movie, because y'all know the movies and the books are so different. Sometimes I've seen books and movies that are complete opposite of what happens. But anyway, guys, I enjoyed doing this experiment. Y'all, I want to do more author routines like Frida McFadden. Y'all let me know some authors routines I should try and do later in the future. But anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye. Oh, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And guys, thank you for the last video with all the views and the comments. I really appreciate all y'all with that. I forgot to say that, but thank you all for that. I was so shocked when I looked at my analytics. I was like, is this my video? Is this my video that got all these views and these comments? What did I do right? What did I do? I was so shocked. But anyway, thank you all for that. But anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.